I'm heading out, man. You want to ride?
No, I got my car, but I actually really need to go to the bathroom.
Dude, are you okay?
I am definitely buzzed.
Yeah.
I think I will take this, and I will take that ride home.
If there's one thing every car guy hates, it's cleaning the garage. Do you want to take most of the time and hassle out of that job? Then call Zone Garage of Eastern Pennsylvania and New Jersey. Agnes and her crew will have your garage, shop, basement, or even your porch looking great all the time. With unique patterns and designs, plus the ability to incorporate your logo or any artwork, your space will never have looked better. Installation is done in 1 day, guaranteed, and Zone Garage offers a 20-year warranty on the top coat. Their coatings are durable, anti-slipped, and impact resistant. Give them a call at 570-856-6067. That's 570-856-6067 for Zone Garage of Eastern Pennsylvania and New Jersey.
I'm Ryan Newman, and since I started with Indiana Donor Network and Driven to Save Lives, I found out that some people think that they can't be an organ donor. The truth is, anyone can sign up to be an organ donor.
Anyone?
Anyone?
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm sure. Anyone can sign up to be an organ donor. So don't count yourself out because somebody's counting on you. Go to driventosavelives.org and sign up today.
But my heart's going to you, Ryan.
Love that shirt.
Have you joined the fastest growing fantasy motorsports app yet? On Grid Rival, you can join leagues with your friends and manage your own fantasy team on what race fans are calling, hands down, the best fantasy motorsport app out there. F1 and MotoGP leagues are now live for the 2021 season. Joining a league on Grid Rival will make every race more exciting, more engaging, and of course, more competitive. Download Grid Rival now on your iPhone or Android smartphone. Grid Rival is an unofficial application and not associated with Formula One, MotoGP, or any of their athletes.
Welcome to the 34 Motorsports Product Showcase. We're proud to offer the full line of Simpson Racing safety products. The Shark Speedway is a perfect brain bucket to keep your melon as safe as possible. We carry every model and size of Hans device, and these have saved countless lives. The Hybrid Pro Lite is an alternative to the Hans device and is just as effective. The DNA 3-layer suit offers maximum protection when things get hot. And hey dude, those comfy shoes won't help one bit when things go south. Keep those hands ready to work with a pair of Vortex FIA gloves meeting every current standard. From 5 to 7 points, we carry every one of the Simpson harnesses, keeping your rear end right where it should be. Keep all your gear clean and together with the helmet and FHR bag, and always be ready to hop in a race car. Visit 34motorsports.com and order today. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another exciting week of iRacing action here on the National Racing Network. My name is Chris Graham. It's a pleasure to have you hanging out with us here. We are at Phoenix International Raceway, known by the community as Phoenix. This is the free version, circa 2008, the old layout with the start-finish line on the main straightaway, the longest of the straightaways here. Just getting ready for qualifications to roll out onto the speedway. And once again, some interesting names coming up here. New name to the National Racing Network. This is Bob Bryant carrying the number 1 here this evening. Some of our regular viewers here going to know some of the other names that we have out here on the racetrack this evening, including the 2 of Thomas Lewandowski, the 3 of Brandon Buckburger, Brandon currently running second in the point standings right now. Taking a look at those numbers, Thomas Lewandowski sitting at 1,141 points, 987 the total for Brandon Buckburger. So not a huge gap, but definitely still pretty big here. Lewandowski just having an absolutely incredible season. In 6 weeks, 7 starts, 3 wins, 6 top 5 finishes to go along with a couple of poles. Lewandowski has been absolutely incredible this season. Buckburger, 6 starts, 1 win, 4 top 5 finishes to go along with 1 pole position. Manuel Paredes right now sitting at the top of the speed charts, ahead of Kenneth Gurrell, Derek Love, Ryan Steele, Tyler Shattuck, the aforementioned Brandon Buckburger, Brad Speedle, Joseph Smith, James Watson, and Nate Ranke, your top 10. Still have not seen Thomas Lewandowski go out on the racetrack. Let's pick up Pablo Donoso as he makes his way out onto the racetrack for his qualification run. And we'll show you the best lap times here as we'll follow along with Pablo. Got to say a huge thank you to everybody tuning in on YouTube and on Twitch. Give us a shout. Let us know in the comments where you're watching from. Hopefully you are enjoying the show here this evening. Big entry list tonight here as well. Looks like this will be a 23 car entry list. Total of 46 across 2 splits. So some pretty healthy Silver Crown field here this evening. Lap number 1 for Donoso, lap number 2 for Donoso, going to jump up to a 26.047. 26.047 the lap time for Pablo Donoso. Bob Bryant to the top of the charts, 25.869. That is a monster lap, second driver into the 25-second bracket, along with Manuel Paredes. Still haven't seen Dan Smith or Thomas Lewandowski get out onto the racetrack, and it's going to be a quick run here for Lewandowski if he's going to be able to get out there. Some different names than what we're used to seeing here in the top split. Good to see Rich Foreman out here tonight in the number 22. Rich, I don't know if he's staff photographer or just what his official title is with him, but we'll call him staff photographer for the United States Auto Club. Traveling the country up and down the road there with the midgets, sprints, and silver crowns, doing all the wingless work for him. Make sure you check out his social media pages and his, I believe, quarterly magazine book that comes out. Rich is a magician with a camera in his hands. Qualifications are done, and Thomas Lewandowski does not set a lap time. Big story coming out of this tonight. No qualification effort for Thomas Lewandowski. And it is already time to go racing. Take a look at the starting grid as they'll begin to form up on the front straightaway. And let's get you tonight's starting lineup for the Silver Crown Cup. Bob Bryant, Manuel Paredes on row number 1. Pablo Donoso and Kenneth Gurrell on row number 2. Row number 3 will have Derek Love and Ryan Steele. Row number 4, Tyler Shattuck and Brandon Buckburger. Brad Speedle and Joseph Smith on row number 5. Row 6, James Watson and Josh Batista. Couple of strong race cars back there on row number 6. Keep your eye on those two to mark their way forward. Nate Ranke and Robbie Swan on row number 7. Row 8, Brandon McCreary and Rich Foreman. Row number 9, Adam Harnish and Austin Rich Miller. Tommy Toe and Wes Shire on row number 10. Row 11 will have Laura Gerhardt and Thomas Lewandowski. All alone on row number 11 will be Florida's Dan Smith. And that is a huge story that Lewandowski not able to get on to the racetrack for qualifications, and thus far he is not on the grid yet for this race either. In fact, the last car, he does not have much time to go here either. I want to say a happy beer can appreciation day to everybody out there. We are appreciating beer cans tonight. We'll see. Let us know if you are as well. Take a look at the weather conditions tonight presented by our friends at the Weather Center. Offensively accurate weather for eastern Pennsylvania and New Jersey. 81-degree ambient temperature, winds going to be out of the southeast at 9 miles an hour. Partly cloudy skies and a 92-degree track temperature. It's going to be a scorcher out there today, and this is only going to get hotter as we go along. That will make tire wear a nearly continuous issue for these drivers to have to fend off. Racetrack is over 1 mile in length, so it will be only one pace lap. Lights are out on the iRacing safety car field already through the dogleg. They'll enter turn number 3. Significantly more sweeping of a corner. You can keep up a lot more speed, but do not touch those tires down beneath that yellow line. The car is going to want to go for a big-time ride, and it will be a challenge to keep a handle of these race cars. Field makes their way off of turn number 4. Pace car ducks in, and as always, race fans, the start of the Silver Crown Cup going to be all yours. One lap already very quickly in the books here for this 100-lap feature here tonight. Oh, a little bit of contact there. Kenneth Gurrell up into the back of Manuel Paredes. He's got to get up out of line. That's going to allow Ryan Steele to come past. Steele slides it up towards the outside of the racetrack. Gurrell going to fall right back in line. Brandon Buckburger there in the 6th position. James Watson thought about having a peek on Brad Speedle there. Buckburger running the low line through turns 1 and 2. Expect to see these drivers get up car width, at least initially, a car width off the bottom, and then they're going to start getting higher up the racetrack as we go. Through 3 and 4, a little bit of the same story. You will be able to run the inside lane, but it could be a challenge to keep the race car down there for the entire distance, especially with that right rear cooking off on corner exit. Here is Ryan Steele having a look down inside of Manuel Paredes for position number 3. Donoso holding on to the rear tail tank of Bob Bryant. Bryant, a 67.37 I rating, carrying the number 1 tonight. Strength of field, 37.53. This one is a monster here this evening. Manuel Paredes getting the shuffle out here. Buckburger now coming past on the inside, following Gurrell through. And the door is going to be open for Tyler Shattuck. We'll see if the 37 is going to be able to make a run to the inside. How about Buckburger to the inside of Gurrell off of 4? Thomas Lewandowski being scored out of the race. Big Hornets nest of cars back here behind James Watson. 3 wide down the straightaway. That's never a good idea. Joseph Smith down there. He's using that apron to help get the 18 car turned. Not a real good situation to be in. The deeper you get in this race, though, to have to turn the car that way. Steele now going to have to deal with Robbie Swan a little bit further up in the field. Kenneth Gurrell, Brandon Buckburger side by side for position number 4. Things getting tight at the front as well. Ryan Steele is caught up to Pablo Donoso and Bob Bryant. With Thomas Lewandowski being out of this race, this is a huge chance for Brandon Buckburger to make up a ton of points here this evening. Taking a look at the stats, we are now past the halfway point of the season. This will be a drop week for Thomas Lewandowski. You will not see another strength of field race this deep. Buckburger really needs to capitalize. Basically, you need to make your drop weeks as good as you possibly can. You don't want to have a DNS, a DNF, anything like that, any, crash out of the races and that kind of stuff. That is going to be really important as we go here. As we see Pablo Donoso coming around Bob Bryant for the race lead. Take a look at the instant replay and show it to you here. Down inside into turns 3 and 4. Bryant way up out of the way, almost got it up into the safer barriers. Donoso able to clear for the race lead. Now Bryant's going to have to worry about fighting off Ryan Steele, one of the hard chargers of the race thus far. Biggest one to this point in the race going to be Dan Smith back here in the 15th position. Just behind Nate Ranke and Brad Steele battling with him. Oh, Ryan Steele having a big issue. Big old tank slapper off of turn number 4. Nearly got that car around. It's going to drop Steele all the way back to the 6th position. Smith up another position here to 14th. Going to have him up 9 from where he started the race tonight. Towards the front, Brandon Buckburger is up 5. He's the hardest charger inside the top 10. Steele trying to hold off Tyler Shattuck and Derek Love as they get to turn number 1. Already 13 laps into this race. It'll move by pretty quickly here. Lap times currently sitting in the mid-26 range. Best lap times were only 26.3, 26.4, so the drivers haven't lost too much yet in the way of pace, but it's going to be coming. Let's take a look. Go on board here with Ryan Steele. Listen to the throttle as he fights his way through traffic. Another pass for the lead off of turn number 2. Bryant getting around Pablo Donoso. There's Buckburger and Gurrell right in the middle of that battle. Buckburger having the look to the inside of Donoso. I don't know that Bryant knew he was going to be way down on the racetrack. Buckburger able to complete the pass easily. Gurrell thought about having the look inside. He will off the exit of turn number 2. Bryant went up the racetrack to block the move by Donoso, but it allowed Brandon Buckburger to stay within about half a car length here. Get you the look from the NRN drone overhead here. Buckburger, great drive off of turn number 4. He'll have the run down the straightaway, try the pass into turn number 1. Bryant able to keep that car wound up on the outside. Forces Buckburger back to the inside of the racetrack again in turn number 3. The outside lane, you really keep the momentum wound up there big time. And we're seeing it. You're going to have to force the pass down to the inside, but it's almost like you're going to need the car ahead of you to make just a little bit of a bobble. Man, Buckburger's got a couple of tires down on the apron now. Trying to get that car to shoot off the corner. That is a great run. Off at turn 2 and through the dog leg. Dives it back down onto the apron once again. It'll help the car turn. The problem is when you get back up onto the banking, it wants to pitch it hard out to the right and towards the outside wall. But this has been a side-by-side battle for the race lead for going on 5 laps here. The inside lane's the shorter way around. The outside lane keeps the momentum up, and thus far, no real advantage to either one of these drivers. And it's brought Kenneth Gurrell right back into the party. 2x2 pace laps down the front straightaway at 160 miles an hour. And this is going to bring the rest of the field back into play if they keep this up. Ryan Steele was almost a second and a half back just a couple of laps ago. The gap now down to 0.8 of a second. Tyler Shattuck, Manuel Paredes, Robbie Swan, they're all right there as well. Field working lap number 23 here around the Phoenix International Raceway. Keep your eye out for the TNT Special Events Series event for February. That will be the Copper World Classic. But as always is the case with TNT, we're doing it with a twist. Everybody's going to be on the racetrack at the same time. Sprint cars, Silver Crowns, Tour Modifieds, PM18s, you name it. There's going to be 4 or 5 different classes on the racetrack at the same time here around Phoenix. It is going to be absolutely insane. Steele has now cut the gap down to the top 4, down to about 0.7 of a second. Call it a half second as they work their way through 3 and 4. Really going to start to feel the pull of the draft. And as we work lap number 25, we could have a 6 or 8 car battle for the race lead here before we know it. Bryant and Buckburger continuing to battle for the lead. You wonder, are either one of these drivers really burning the tires off these cars in a big way? Oh, big contact, hard up into the outside wall. We'll see caution flag number 1. Up and over goes Ryan Steele. Oh, we've got carnage down the front straightaway. This is huge. What a mess down the front straightaway. Ryan Steele and Pablo Donoso making contact. Little bit of a twitch. Donoso going to slide into your living room, and good Lord. Oh, what a mess. James Watson going for a wild ride. Let's take a look here. Go on board with James Watson. See what he saw here. Little bit of smoke. Backs out of the throttle. Nowhere to go. Oh, buddy. Huge hit there for James Watson. Seeing Ryan Steele trying to limp his race car back to the pit area. Pablo Donoso involved in that, as is Brad Speedle, Ryan Steele, Manuel Paredes, James Watson, Robbie Swan. 6 cars all going to be on pit lane. And we may see more duck down as well. See if we can't get a word in here quickly with James Watson. James, it looked like all hell broke loose in front of you. What happened out there?
There was a big wreck, and I couldn't avoid it because someone arc braked behind me.
Yeah, that's kind of what it felt like. These things are tough to slow down. They're not real fun to try to drive through the wreck. Tough break out there, bud, but hopefully we're talking to you on a little bit better circumstances next week.
I guess, but I doubt it.
All right, James, thank you very much. We will not have James in the booth, by the way, with us this Thursday. Well, we might, but he'll be down in Daytona Beach, Florida for the Rolex 24 at Daytona. Man, that was a mess. Let's see if we can't get a take another look at the replay here. Give it to you from the NRN drone. Big hits. I mean, you're just seeing cars just piling into the shot here. Wild ride for Pablo Donoso. Ryan Steele got a big-time piece of that as well. So go back to the live look. We're going to do at least one more lap here under the caution flag. Caution number 1 coming out at lap number 29. Excuse me, lap 28 was the lap of the caution flag. Seeing Don checking in the comments on YouTube. Whee! Arca brakes. Yeah, that's having driven these cars, they are not pleasant to try to slow down. You get off the gas too hard, the car wants to spin. You hit the brakes too hard, the car wants to spin. Sometimes it's easier to just keep your foot in it and try to drive through it. And ordinarily, you would say aim for where they are now because they won't be there by the time they get there. The problem was there were cars bouncing off each side of the wall. Wasn't a whole lot that some of these drivers were going to be able to do. So it's going to be Brandon Buckburger, your race leader. Field comes off at turn number 4, and what the hell? Let's do it. Y'all go ahead and crank it up. Off at turn number 4, Brandon Buckburger holding on to a 2.5 car length lead over Bob Bryant, Kenneth Gurrell, Tyler Shattuck, Derek Love, now your top 5. How about the shout for Dan Smith making it through that incident unscathed? Easily your hard charger of the race, up 17 positions. That's a monster. Nate Ranke running just back behind him, up 6. Another shout here. Wes Shire and Homestead Coffee, Tales from Rukon, number 13. Wes up 8 positions after escaping that incident unscathed. Cars now being scored out of the race are Manuel Paredes, James Watson, Robbie Swan, and Thomas Lewandowski. Pablo Donoso, Ryan Steele, Brad Speedle all remain on pit lane, but their chances of a win have gone up in smoke here down the front straightaway. Take a look and see what the track temperature is doing here. Only up a couple of degrees, up to 93, as we get a good look there from Rattlesnake Hill in turns 3 and 4. Not as big of a change as we might have expected here as we get to the halfway point in the race. Buckburger and Bryant able to open up, call it a 3/4 of a second gap over Kenneth Gorell. Dan Smith, he getting ready to do some work here looking inside of Derek Love. Big old pack of race cars right here. Nate Ranke, Joseph Smith, Josh Batista going to be in this one as well. Seeing that 18 machine of Smith way down on the apron on the exit at turn number 4. Later in the race, you won't be able to do that. That car will snap around in a hurry. Seeing Manuel Paredes checking into the comments here. Car 19 never lifted off the throttle. Yes. There were quite a few that never lifted off the throttle, quite frankly. Seeing maybe some people not listening to spotters here. It's tough, man. These cars are... This part of the reason I love to broadcast this series is that these cars are not easy to drive, especially on the flat miles like this. They get twitchy. They're a handful. The deeper in the race you get, the lighter the rear end gets. These things become very, very difficult to drive. If you hit the brakes too hard, you're going to spin. So even if you see the wreck happening in front of you, lift off the throttle too quickly, the car wants to snap. Brake too hard, the car wants to snap. It's not as bad as the sprint car, but it's not like you're driving a Formula car that's planted with a lot of downforce here. Seeing Tyler Shattuck, Derek Love side by side down the straightaway. The other issue that you have is, and it is something that's unique to the world of sim racing, is netcode. There's really nothing you can do about it. If the iRacing computer says your cars have made contact, you've made contact. And in these cars, there are no small incidents. By the time the spotter makes the call and says car inside, car outside, whatever, you're already in a world of hurt. Great battle here. The lead still sitting at about a 10.5 for Buckburger over Bryant. Then it's a big gap back to Kenneth Gorell, and then the big gap back here to Derek Love. And this pack of cars all running together as we're not even to the halfway point yet. Still 6 laps shy of halfway, in fact. Looking at what the championship implications could be in this one. Thomas Lewandowski, obviously way at the back of the field. Brandon Buckburger, your race leader. The one that's really going to hurt is Manuel Paredes. Paredes was 76 points back of third place Brandon Buckburger. That gap is going to go up by a wide margin unless Buckburger has an issue late in this race. Fourth place in the standings is Nate Ranke. Nate currently running in the 6th position, so a good run for him. He'll get a pretty decent points haul out of this one. Surprised no Jeffrey Stanton in the race tonight. Stanton currently 5th in points. Tyler Shattuck in line for a good points night. He's currently 6th. And then you're back to cars that were involved in the incident. Pablo Donoso, James Watson, and then a couple of cars that are not in the field. Wayne Hutchison, Kevin DeBello, Ryan Steele 11th in points. Not going to get any help here. Going to make for not the way you wanted to start the second half of your season as we look at Brandon Buckburger and Bob Bryant. Those two cars separating themselves out by 2 seconds from Kenneth Gurrell. What looked to be a possible 6-car battle for the race win now looks like it's going to be 2, and the question becomes, who's managed their equipment better? Buckburger spent a lot of the first half of this race down on the far inside of the racetrack. That's going to burn the tires off the cars. We see Bryant have the peak into 3. And he makes that pass easily over Brandon Buckburger. So put Bob Bryant back to the front of the field. Second time tonight that Bryant has led. Buckburger going to stay right there on the tail tank. Not a lot of incentive for these guys to battle really hard right now as they will see the cross flags. We are halfway home here in the Valley of the Sun. Bob Bryant, your leader at the halfway point over Brandon Buckburger. Kenneth Gurrell running in the 3rd position. He'll be followed by Derek Love and Dan Smith. Smith, the big-time hard charger of the race here, up 18 to get inside the top 5. Obviously some attrition helping that, but still a hell of a drive by Dan Smith. Haven't gotten to say his name in quite a while. Oh, Tyler Shattuck almost getting the outside retaining wall off of turn number 4. Chops down the nose off of Joseph Smith. Smith coming around Derek Love. Derek Love having an issue. He's going to be back a couple of spots here. Take a look and see what happened to Derek Love. Oh, he got some help. Rear end romance from Dan Smith. Spun him around. Well, about halfway around anyway. That's going to drop Smith back to the 6th position. Put Dan Smith up to 4th. Man, Dan, if you're watching, we are going to want to talk to you after the race here. Battle at the lead, still just staying right in lockstep. It's going to be Bob Bryant in the 1, Brandon Buckburger in the 3. Dan Smith starting to close in on Kenneth Gurrell. Nate Ranke following right along in line. Interesting to see how they're taking 2 different approaches to turns 1 and 2. Dan Smith really kind of arcing the car more. Tucks it down to the inside, slides up off the bottom of the racetrack in 3 and 4. Car starting to get that tank wiggle. The tank slapper off of turn number 4. Seeing Pablo Donoso has returned to the racetrack after 13 minutes and 44 seconds of pit repair time. We'll see how that car is going to handle. Dan Smith down around Kenneth Gurrell. That's going to put him inside the podium positions. That number 10 of Dan Smith is an absolute hot rod tonight. Thank you for the poor performance in qualifying, Dan. He may have stunk up the show here if he started at the front of the field. Battle continuing to rage at the front of the field, and we are down to 40 laps to go here. 39 and a half to be exact at Phoenix Raceway. 1 and 2 still just kind of hanging around there. Take a look at the time delta here from Brandon Buckburger to Joseph Smith. The gap holding right about the same, right about 2.6 seconds or so. Problem is, as soon as these leaders get to battling, it's going to open the door for Smith, Gurrell, Ranky, Love, everybody else inside the top 5 to really make a charge toward the front here. Not a lot of incentive for these two to go to war just yet. Still so much of this race left to go. Taking a look at the lap times here, Tyler Shattuck has the best lap of the race at a 26.286. His last lap time, 26.867. So drivers sitting right about a half second off their best lap times. Go back here to this fight with Gurrell, Ranky, and Love. This one will be interesting to watch develop over the rest of this race. Gurrell running where he qualified in 4th. Nate Ranky is up 8 spots to run 5th. Did he burn up the tires a good bit? Now again, the attrition is going to help some, but Ranky having to push that car fairly hard to work his way up through the field. Derek Love actually down 1. But again, that could just be a matter of tire conservation versus a game of raw pace over the course of this race. Dan Smith set the fastest lap of the race last time by, and the gap is down to 2.3 seconds from Bob Bryant back to 3rd place running Dan Smith. Smith can see him. I think getting there may be a different story. If we get a caution flag, though, my goodness, this one could get wild. Take a look at your hard chargers of the race. Brandon Buckburger is up 6, currently running in the 2nd position. Dan Smith up 20. He is the overall hard charger right now. Nate Ranky having a little bit of a bobble off of turn number 4, is up 8 from the start of this race. Looking a little bit further back in the pack, Rich Foreman in the number 22. He is up 7 to run in the 9th position. Wes Shire, a couple of spots back, is up 9, running in 11th. Homestead Coffee Roasters and Tales from Rukon on the side of that, number 13. Austin Rich Miller just back behind him, up 6 to run 12th. Good run there. And a shout out for Laura Gerhardt here. Laura is up 7. Running in the 14th position. Brad Steele getting back onto the racetrack, now back on the pit lane. It'll be 30 to go next time by the start-finish line. Top two still in line, behaving themselves. Here's Kenneth Gurrell, Nate Ranke, Derek Love. This is the only other really tight battle on the racetrack right now. Knocking on wood here, but only one caution thus far in the race. That occurring at lap number 28 for a multi-car incident down the front straightaway. Hard to believe we are already in the second half of 2022 Season 1 here on the iRacing platform. Coming up the rest of this season. Next week, we get back to the high-banked mile-and-a-halfs, paying a visit to the oblong, egg-shaped Chicagoland Speedway for a 67-lap feature event. Following it up with visits to the Langley Speedway. That will be 100 laps around the Virginia Bull Ring. Then we're back to a couple of the bigger places. Pocono Raceway in the middle of February. Last week of the month, we will head off to Dover. 1 mile, high bank. Love it. Can't wait to see the race there. And we close the season out with a 100-lapper at Lucas Oil Raceway, Indianapolis, the track formerly known as IRP. Ranke's starting to get a little bit impatient here. Sneaking the bumper up inside of Kenneth Gurrell. Wants to try not to make any contact. But here comes Derek Love up the inside. It's go time here for the number 6. Street Side Customs on the side of that car for Derek Love. Thought about making the big move on Ranke. Elects better to fall back in line, not risk the contact. We are going to be down to 25 laps to go, this time by the start-finish line. Gap for the race leaders still sitting at about 2.8 seconds to third place, Dan Smith. But now with 25 to go, the question becomes, if you're Brandon Buckburger, when do you make the move? Don't want to show your hand too early and don't want to have to use up your stuff too much, but at the same time, Bryant has really been able to hold on to the lead here. Slide back here, pick up Rich Foreman, going to work on Josh Batista. West Shire, Austin, Rich Miller also going to be side by side through 3 and 4. Oh man, Shire all up the racetrack, almost into the side of Miller. He really had to back out of the throttle. Foreman looking inside of Josh Batista down the backstretch. Rich Foreman looks like he may complete another pass here, move himself up. Now up 8. Oh, what a save by Josh Batista. That car banged all sorts of up on the right front corner. These race cars turning into a big-time handful now. Love dipping a couple of tires off onto the apron at the entrance of 3. There you see Dan Smith running third. Gurrell, Ranke, Love comes screaming past the line. Trouble for Joseph Smith. Yeah, he just gone. Coming up on the lap car of Pablo Donoso are your race leaders. Donoso clears out of the way. Tough break for Joseph Smith. Well, looks like he's starting to show back up here. Oh, Joseph Smith having to get down pit lane. So that car making contact with the outside retaining walls. This dog pile of race cars continuing to fight here. Brandon McCreary and Laura Gerhardt battling for the 12th position. Oh, we've got big trouble. One car upside down. That's Rich Foreman. Huge incident for Rich Foreman. Tyler Shattuck also going to be involved as well. Oh, Foreman got a little bit loose through the dog leg. Wild flight through the catch fence. Shattuck out of the ballpark. He yard sails it goodbye. And Shattuck takes the immediate tow back to the pit lane. And we will be under caution here. The front end absolutely torn off of Rich Foreman's race car. Tough break there. And, well, this is going to change some stuff now. Bob Bryant will be your race leader, but he's going to have to contend with Brandon Buckburger. The ones who really didn't want to see this caution was at lead 2, because it's going to put Dan Smith in a position to have a shot at them both on the restart. Lap car and Pablo Donoso occupying the space between second and third. Kenneth Gurrell now going to restart in the 4th position. Nate Ranke will restart 5th. These will be single file restarts, but so we are going to be down to 15 laps to go here at Phoenix, and there is a green-white checkered on the offer if needed. None of these drivers want to see that right now. Lights are still on the iRacing safety car as well here, so we're going to go at least one more lap under the caution flag. So lights are out. We are going to get ready to go back to green flag racing here, and it will be 13 laps to go. Can Bob Bryant hold off Brandon Buckburger, Dan Smith, Kenneth Gorell, Nate Ranke, and the rest of the field here? Green flag goes back in the air. Great start for your top two. Smith not as quick on the getaway. It's going to be side by side into turns 1 and 2. Nate Ranke, Derek Love. And this is where Buckburger really has to try to make an effort to get around the race leader quick. They say cautions breed cautions, and especially late in the race, these drivers will make every effort to gain the slightest little bit of an advantage. Oh, a little bit of contact there. Derek Love getting into the back of Kenneth Gorell. Everybody going to be single file now. 4 cars gaining double-digit positions here. Dan Smith, Austin Rich Miller, Wes Shire, Laura Gerhart. Good runs for those race cars. At the front of the field, things are going to stay fairly tight, but it is now a 3-car fight for the race win, as we are going to be down to 10 laps to go here at Phoenix. Derek Love, Austin Rich Miller side by side off of 2. Love able to hold the inside clear. Miller through the dog leg. Miller going to try to fight back up on the outside of the racetrack. It is not going to work. Derek Love will hold on to a car length advantage. Called a half off of turn 4. A little bit of a tag slapper there for Miller. Seeing Rich Foreman making his way back onto the racetrack. Tyler Shattuck also back on the racetrack. Now Rich Foreman having another issue here, having to take the tow back in. Did not like how that car was driving on pit exit, so Rich wisely taking the tow back in. Shattuck staying out on the racetrack, currently being scored in the 15th position. Really close to not being able to gain much of anything here in terms of positions should we have another caution. Here comes Dan Smith having to look on Buckburger to the outside off of 2. Brandon able to get the good run down the backstretch. Through the dog leg, clear by 3. Will not be the case through the middle of 3 and 4. 5-finger salute at the start-finish line. 5 to go here at Phoenix. Still, Bob Bryant holding on to a half-second advantage over Brandon Buckburger. Here comes Dan Smith again having the look. This fighting here for second is allowing 4th place Nate Ranke to catch back in on these two. If we get to the white flag, the next flag will end it. Otherwise, we will be heading for overtime. Buckburger continuing to use the apron to his advantage. Man alive, Dan Smith really closing up through 1 and 2. Carries a lot more speed into the corner. Buckburger able to get back to the throttle a little bit faster. Opens the gap back up. Lap 99 is on the board. We are down to 2 to go. Bob Bryant holding on to a half-second advantage. Qualified on pole. He's been the dominant car all night long. White flag is out. 1 to go. First appearance for Bob Bryant on the Strength of Field broadcast of the Silver Crown Cup. He will be your race leader into 3 and 4 for the final time. Off that final corner, checkered flag goes in the air. Bob Bryant gets the win at Phoenix. Brandon Buckburger holds on for second. What a drive from Dan Smith. He is going to gain 20 positions tonight to come home in the 3rd position. That race was a ton of fun. A lot of cars having issues early on in this one. A big one taking out several contenders from the front of the field. But ultimately, the guy who was on pole and quickest in practice is going to be the one who parks it in victory lane, and that is Bob Bryant. Getting the win by half a second over Brandon Buckburger. Dan Smith coming home 3/4 of a second back in 3rd. Nate Ranke, Kenneth Gurrell complete your top 5. 6 through 10, Derek Love, Austin Miller, Wes Shire, Laura Gerhart, and Brandon McCreary. 11 to 15, Tommy Toe, Josh Batista, Adam Harnish, Joseph Smith, and Tyler Shattuck. Rich Foreman going to finish the night in the 16th position. 17th belongs to Pablo Donoso as we enter into some of the cars that had big-time issues. Brad Speedle finishing 18th, Ryan Steele 19th, 20th going to Robbie Swan. 21st, Manuel Paredes. 22nd, James Watson. And Thomas Lewandowski, a did not start tonight, will be scored in the 23rd position. That's a big-time iRacing donation that Thomas Lewandowski made tonight as well. Tough break there for him. Let's get ready to kick off our Victory Lane interviews here. We'll see who we'll be able to talk to. Hopefully we'll get Dan Smith in here. Also looking forward to talking to race winner Bob Bryant, if we're able to chat with him here. But we'll kick things off here tonight with our runner-up finisher, Mr. Brandon Buckburger. And I'll tell you what, Brandon, that was a heck of a run. You gained 6 spots, got a little bit of help from the big one that happened early on. But all in all, that number 3 National Racing Network special looked pretty darn good out there.
Yeah, it wasn't bad. Bob was just playing with us. He was just that much better. When we were racing, I kind of got the advantage on that yellow. Then when we got back to green, I tried doing some hot laps to see if I could pull from him, and I couldn't pull away from him. And he got under me, and I just decided to try to save my stuff and make a run for it in the last 10, but that last caution didn't help at all.
Yeah, and then it was one of those, that last caution flag brought Dan Smith big time into play. Did the thought process become a little bit more of hold him off versus try to race Bob for the win?
After I got clipped a little and won, but it wasn't his fault. But yeah, it was after that. It was, I didn't have anything. I had to be perfect. I wish that yellow didn't come out. I think it might have been a little bit. I think it would have been the same result. It just would have been more of a show for you guys.
I tell you what, it was a hell of a show one way or the other. It was a lot of fun watching you two. You were really holding on to his bumper. It's kind of interesting to hear that basically you're saying that Bob was playing with everybody tonight. What's that like when you're behind the wheel, when you're sitting there going, I'm right here, but that last 3 feet just isn't going to come?
I really wasn't thinking about that. I was thinking about, saving some stuff for the last 10 to go and trying to see where I could have made a move on him. I had something figured out, but that yellow didn't help, obviously. I mean, it killed me. And then that last restart, I just couldn't get through 1 and 2 after that. I think I was a little better than him in 3 and 4, and after that restart, I was junk. I just didn't have anything. Something happened.
Well, all in all, not a bad run tonight. Huge points night for you, picking up second-place points and a good strength of field. Obviously, Thomas having the issues that he had, whether that was connection or whatnot. So congratulations on the podium finish tonight here, brother, and thank you for making the paint scheme look good there up the front. Let's make sure we get all the sponsor plugs and thank yous in before we let you out of here.
Yeah, thanks. I'd like to thank National Racing Network for jumping on the car. I wish I could have gotten another win. But I'll take a second here, and it is a good point tonight, that's for sure. It'll be good, but I'm sure Thomas will be back strong next week too. So, and then I want to thank Vinny Sansone for helping with setups like usual. I mean, we're still running the same stuff we have been last 5 seasons, and it just seems to work week after week.
Another impressive run tonight, bud. Congratulations once again. Thank you very much for coming to check in and hang out with us here. We appreciate the time, and with that, looks like we are unfortunately not going to be able to talk to our race winner. Doesn't look like we're going to have Dan Smith either. Take a look. Let's see if, unfortunately we won't have Dan Smith. So looks like that will kind of wrap things up here for this show. Check the comments here, make sure there's nobody looking for us, but looks like that's going to be it. So with that, we are going to wrap things up. A huge week of racing coming up here on the National Racing Network. Tomorrow night, it'll be Tear It Up Tuesday, coming to you live from the Big E Eldora Speedway, Rossburg, Ohio, for the 358 versus Big Block Modified Challenge on the Dirt. Coming up on Wednesday, last race before the week off for the Sim Racers Club. It will be the cars of the NASCAR Xfinity Series taking on Auto Club Speedway. Thursday night, doubleheader closing out the season for the Grid Rival Ezra IndyCar Series. Round number 15 at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. 240-mile-an-hour Indy cars around the Las Vegas Oval, going to be absolutely insane. And then the back end of the Twin Bill, the Indy Pro 2000 Championship heading off to Richmond Raceway. That one's going to be a lot of fun to watch as well. But with that, we are getting out of here. It has been a pretty darn good night of racing here on NRN. Looking forward to more coming up this week. For everybody here at NRN, my name is Chris Graham. It's been a pleasure having you hang out with us. We will talk to you all soon. Have a good night, everybody.